So it can't be emphasized enough that language learning is completely different from how other subjects are learned. We're not looking at transferring knowledge here or memorizing facts. It's more about developing the learner's subconscious language system. Let's call it their English brain. This is often a transitional process. So what it means is that students, they often hold on to their mistakes for quite a long time. But they do normally, inevitably, start to notice the differences between their language and the world around them. And they make adjustments and changes by themselves. This is a subconscious process, and it requires well-trained teachers that understand that, who can design a learning path forward for them. So we can't be too reactive to errors, because all of them errors are signs that the learners are actually on the right path. They're taking chances and they're trying things out, and yes, they're making mistakes at the same time, but if they broadly understand what they're trying to do with a grammatical concept, at the early stage, it counts for much more than being accurate and correct all the time. So these mistakes cannot be fixed overnight. It's a very long process. Over time, in the right order and the right way, adjustments and corrections will be made. If we take a short-term view, trying to fix every mistake and reacting to every error, then we end up inhibiting the learning process by stifling communication and making learners feel like they need to be perfect every time. Parents and teachers need to understand that just because a learner is making errors, it doesn't mean that they're failing or that it is even necessarily a problem. It simply means that they're just not there yet. If we want to deeper learning,
there needs to be more patience and a greater tolerance for errors.
Quite often, parents would contact me asking for help to explain homework to their kids. They would always use the same words about helping to find the correct answer. Now, more often than not, the correct answer is the extent to which the learner is able to show understanding. And this varies from student to student. And by hiding errors, then we're not really helping the student because we're making their progress invisible to the teacher. We don't want to force them to copy the best possible answer. We want to assess their ability to use their own words to construct meaning and make themselves understood. Different learners are at different stages, and we can't force them to progress too quickly.
Focusing on the correct answer often misses that point. Language learning is not about finding the correct answer.
It's about the degree to which the learner can demonstrate their ability to construct something meaningful, something that they want to say. And if they can't construct something, they need to be encouraged to try. Because in many cases,
it could be this obsession with being correct all the time
that actually prevents them from trying in the first place. A new approach is needed whenever supervising young learners who are doing any kind of language work. It's about guiding them towards their own understanding with a better tolerance for mistakes. It's always better to focus on meaning first and communication first, and language second. This is how we activate the cognitive processes needed to tap into the deeper learning potential of young learners. I know this is counterintuitive because of the way that other subjects are taught, but the point of English or any other foreign language is to engage the learners in the process of learning, trying to express their thoughts, observations, and understanding. Learners need to be encouraged to think in this way. None of this is to say that errors shouldn't be corrected sometimes or that learners shouldn't be guided towards better answers. During the feedback process, we can look at their work and compare it with their peers. With similar tasks, we can provide a lot of opportunities for learners to learn a lot from their peers, especially noticing different ways in which ideas can be expressed compared to their own. A lot of learners learn a lot that way. But first, they need to engage in the process. They need to feel safe taking risks and making mistakes without being scrutinized for accuracy, as this scrutiny creates negative emotions around language learning. And I think this is actually one of the biggest things holding young learners back from achieving their potential in English.